Hi there everybody, in this video we're going to look at stars and fireworks at night. Okay, so essentially the first thing I'm going to need is probably a black background or a dark background, certainly if that's what we're going to show. So I'm just going to format the background by clicking the right button in the corner, format background, and selecting a dark colour. So I will just go with the darkest I can think of, which is black. Okay, so I'm going to do this in two stages. We're first going to look at stars, and then I'm going to look at like a firework type of explosion. So to do a star, it's kind of like a similar method for both. So the first thing you're going to need is to decide the shape of your star. So under shapes, I am going to look to insert a star. I'm going to go with a four-pointed star for this to start with. So I'm going to select four-pointed star, and I'm just going to drag a shape to represent a star. In terms of the colour of the star, well, technically, obviously the lighter the better. So I'm going to go for, so I'll go to shape fill, and I'm going to go for a nice kind of light yellowy type of colour. So I'm going to go for more fill colours, and I'm going to try and find a yellowy colour here, nice and light and yellow, because that's the kind of colour. This little icon here, this little selection option, it just makes it a little bit thinner, so I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. I don't want it too big. So that's going to be the first bit part of it. The other element of it is I'm going to make, which again, so this is depending on the size of your star, but I'm going to copy this and I'm going to turn it at right angles to make it bigger. So that, and I'm going to make this bit kind of skinnier, essentially. So I want it bigger, so I'm going to make it bigger. I want it longer, but I want it skinnier. That makes sense. So a little bit like that, so you can see it's longer but skinnier, essentially. Maybe even bigger than that, to be honest. Or actually, do you know what? I can make that one smaller. That's probably another way of doing it. So something like that. Okay, so you've got one which is longer, which is skinnier. Don't really want any outline on the shapes, so I don't need those. So remove those. Let's have a look. Make sure I kind of got rid of them. And there you go. Something to that effect. Maybe that it's actually even skinnier. Yeah, there we go. Something to that effect. So I'm now going to animate these. So I need to select them both together and group them first of all. So let's put them into a group. So I've highlighted them all, and then click the right button to group them because I want to animate them together. And then this is the bit where I try and think about how it kind of comes in. So if you think about a star, it kind of flickers and shines, and but ultimately it needs to appear and then kind of do, it's like a sparkle type of thing. So that's really where we're going for. So under animations, I am going to add two animations to this, and that will be the same actually for the next bit. So I need to add an animation to start with. Say, right, I want it to appear, kind of come in. So I want it to zoom in, so to speak. So I want it to zoom in to start with, like that. I'm going to zoom in like that. But almost immediately, I kind of want it to disappear. So I'm going to add another animation to it, which then says, right, I want you to effectively disappear, as you kind of see it. So I'm going to put the shape and like that, but ultimately a bit faster. So if I look at my animation pane here, I kind of want to kind of reduce this really kind of quick, so it does it very, very fast, because like I say, it's supposed to be like a sparkly type of effect. So let's try that. If I try that in real time, so if I press the button and it kind of appears but it didn't disappear. Why didn't it disappear? Because I hadn't asked them to do it at the same time, have I? So let it try that one more time. So let's go try it. Oh, so it appears, disappears, appears, disappears. probably want to make it stay a little bit longer. So I'm just going to make that just a touch bigger, and I'm going to try that a little bit later. So again, a little bit of trial and error. There's always a little bit of trial and error with all these things. So let's try that. So it appears, it comes in, sparkle goes. And that's it. It's quite simple. You may then decide to make that certainly smaller, because stars don't tend to be that big. And again, so let's have a look. I'm going to put it a little kind of smaller and do it. There we go. Real kind of quick. Just try it again. So real kind of, there we go. So appears, disappears. Quite cool. A little kind of star effect. Very nice indeed. The real kind of simple star effect, kind of appears, disappears. And of course, it might be that you think, well, I only need multiple. So if I copy and paste, so Control-C, so make sure I've kind of got all of it. I don't think I've got all of it. So have I got all of it? So Control-C, and then move it across. So let's paste it there, paste another one. So Control-C, Control-V. So I've got kind of few taking place over here. Control-C. So all I'm doing is Control-C, Control-V, and pasting. You can see there's a number of taking place. Now if I just ask them to all appear, so select two of them, so select one and then press with my shift key held down, select the next one, and say after the previous one. That's doing it again. So when I do that, what it's actually doing is kind of saying one and then the other. So I'm going to have to manipulate these a little bit to say with the previous, and then just change the time frame a little bit. So I just need to move that on to 0.8. And then I'm probably going to have to do that for all these actually. So if I start with them, and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move them on a little bit so they all appear at different times. So if I just move that over here, and again with that one, so you can see it's pretty fiddly. In fact, if I just double click it, I can actually type in the delay myself and just put 1.2. Rather than, I selected them all, didn't I, when I did that. You've got to be really careful. So when I'm doing one at a time, just to make sure, I want 1.2 there, so there it is. And then let's move this one on to, it's not wanting me to do it. Try that again. So let's try 1.8, which means this one needs to be 1.9. And again, all I'm doing is trying to select it in the middle, see where you've got that little shape there, and then that'll allow me to move it left and right. You can now, if you can type them in manually, but like I said, sometimes it's easy to just drag and drop. In this case, it's getting a little bit fiddly, so I want this 2.6. There we go. So you can see it all appearing at different times. So when I play this now, what should happen is, it'll probably go across because I think I've done them in order, but essentially I'll get different kind of sparkly icons each time. So let's try this in real time. So press it and hopefully we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Quite nice kind of sparkly effect. So that is stars. We're now going to look at another one, which is essentially an explosion. So I'm going to just kind of remove any text. Like I did last time, right click, and I'm going to put the background to black. So that's what we've got. And in this case, it's very similar. So I'm going to insert a star type of shape, but this time around, because it's like an explosion, it won't just be 4 points or 8 points or anything like that. What I'm looking for is the one that's got the most points to it, so the 32 points. So I'm going to create a 32 pointed star, which more looks like one of those kind of like a promotional offer banners essentially. The colours of it, and again depending on how you want to do your explosion. Now at the moment it's blue, but I might as well do this now. So I want to change the colour so it's kind of got a radial coloured effect. So I'm gonna choose the type, drop down to radial, because I want it to go from inside to out. Then I need the direction to go from, there we go, from the center, like that. And then of course I'm going to kind of change the colors. So I don't want it to be, actually I want it to be white on the outside. And maybe I want a reddy color in the center, maybe. Again, you can try different things. I'll go for orange actually. Let's get rid of the blue. So when I get rid of it, it's highlight it and just drag it down. Tends to remove it. There you go. That type of colour, and then that seems to change to blue. So let's just change that back to a white colour. And move it nearer the middle, so it kind of takes that type of effect. Again, you might want to test these. Okay, so at the moment it still looks like that shape. So the little yellow icon in the middle, I'm going to drag down to the middle so it takes a kind of effect. So it looks like there's a centre and a sparkly bit that kind of goes out. I'm going to try and make it bigger so you can kind of see it. So I want to kind of make it really, well, relatively decent size. Don't want any borders or anything like that. I don't want any kind of random colours, so no outline. No, none at all. Get rid of those. And then what I actually do want, I tell a lie, I do want an outline. And what I want is to change, let's change it to dashes. Let's see if it's kept it or not. Change it to dashes. There you go. So yes, so no outline. But then what I wanted in the shape, I click my right button, and what I did, actually didn't, under shape outline, I apologise, under shape outline, I changed the line to dashes. Okay, so you've got this kind of dashed effect that's taking place here. Right, so I'll just kind of come back. So under shape outline, don't remove the no outline, you want to actually change it to dashed. Okay, so that's what I've done. And then you've got this type of shape. So this is where we add a bit of animation. So we want it to appear. So essentially, like we did with the star, we want to animate it to appear first of all. So it needs to kind of appear. So we are looking for the same zoom in effect, which will get it to do that. Again, I know apologies if the video isn't fully working brilliantly, because obviously it's a recorded version of it, but yes, it kind of pulls in. But we also want to add an animation, because when it finishes, it explodes essentially. So in the animation, I am looking for a one that says look like it's explode. So that doesn't exist under the normal banner, so I need to go to more exit effects, and there is one called dissolve, I believe. So looking there, can you see the dissolve one? I should be able to see it quickly. I've used it before. Where is it? There it is. Dissolve out. Dissolve out. So it kind of dissolves. And click OK. So it should have two. If you look on the animation pane now, it should have two things taking place. So I'm just gonna make the explosion last a little bit longer. I want them to happen at the same time, so click my right button with previous, and now I'm going to try to see what that looks like in slideshow mode. So here we go. In slideshow mode, I'm going to click select, boom, and explodes. I'll try it one more time so you can see it. No, that's the other one. And then here we go. Boom, and explodes. It's probably too big. Probably just a little bit big. So I'm going to make it smaller. I'm just going to move that right to the center so you can hardly see it. Let's try that one more time. So again, a bit of trial and error. Let's see. Boom. Here we go. Boom. Boom. So So there you go. It's kind of an explosion type effect. Yeah, again, what you probably will find is if you play around with these a little bit more, you can kind of get it to how you want it to be. So if I just make the entrance a little bit longer, you'll see the effect that as it kind of comes in, lasts a little bit longer. So maybe that's probably a little bit better. There we go. So it kind of takes a little bit longer to kind of load in, but of course it's starting to dissolve almost immediately. So play that one more time. So that's actually quite cool. In fact, you know what? I'll even make it even longer. That entrance to be 1 second, or close enough to 1 second. So here we go. So it comes in and explodes. Comes in and explodes. So there we have kind of two little kind of cool things. So you've got your star, and you've got an explosion, and all kind of using my PowerPoint animation. So thanks very much for listening, and I will see you on the next video.